It happened in episode 9, an accident involving a recurring character named Garrett. And in the aftermath of that accident, Kayce Dutton reached out and held the hand of Tom Weaver's daughter. Nobody thought much of it in the moment. It looked like comfort. It looked like two people who'd both had a rough day. But months later, we now know exactly whose hand that was, and exactly what her father turns out to be. Welcome to Next Episode Hub. Before we dig into why this one quiet moment might be the most complicated relationship Marshals has ever set up, if you're new here, I'd really appreciate a subscribe. It helps this channel keep tracking every twist this show throws at us. Okay, let's build this from the beginning because the full weight of that handhold only lands once you see the whole timeline. Marshals is the CBS spin-off following Kayce Dutton, played by Luke Grimes, as he joins a Montana-based U.S. Marshals unit. Kayce's wife, Monica Dutton, played by Kelsey Asbill, died off-screen sometime between the end of Yellowstone and the start of this new series. That loss sits underneath everything Kayce does in Season 1. He's not looking for anything. He's just trying to function. Then in Episode 4, titled The Gathering Storm, which aired March 22, 2026, everything shifts. Kayce and his team leader, Pete Calvin, known as Cal, get called out to rescue a wealthy rancher whose helicopter went down in the mountains during a storm. That rancher is Tom Weaver, played by Chris Mulkey. Once Weaver is safely rescued, his daughter shows up to say thank you. Her name is Dolly Weaver, played by Ellen Jamieson. Dolly buys the whole Marshals team a round of drinks at their usual bar as a thank you. But it's clear from the start that her attention is on one person specifically. Kayce assumes it's just gratitude. His teammate Andrea Cruz, played by Ash Santos, does not let him get away with that read. She tells him flatly that she knows what genuine gratitude looks like, and that is not what she's seeing. That's the moment this relationship actually starts. Not with a big declaration, with a joke from a coworker who saw it coming before Kayce did. From there, the show doesn't rush it. It lets it simmer. Dolly keeps showing up. Kayce keeps pretending he hasn't noticed. And meanwhile, there's a second thread running in parallel, because Episode 9 also gives us a moment where Kayce and Andrea seem to be growing closer themselves. So by the midpoint of the season, Kayce is being pulled in two directions at once. One is Andrea, a fellow Marshal, someone who understands the job, the danger, the weight of what they do every day. The other is Dolly, an outsider to all of it. A rancher's daughter with no connection to law enforcement or the Dutton legacy. And it's in that same stretch of episodes, specifically Episode 9, where the moment from our title actually happens. There's an accident involving a character named Garrett, played by country music artist Riley Green, who appeared as a recurring guest star across Episodes 8 through 11. In the aftermath of that accident, Kayce reaches for Dolly's hand. It's small, it's quiet, it's not a scene built for a trailer, but it's the moment where the show quietly confirms which direction it's actually leaning. Episode 10, titled Playing with Fire, pushes things further still. By this point, the will they won't they has stopped being subtle. Kayce is actively spending time with Dolly outside of any case, outside of any excuse. The show is no longer hinting. It's building toward something. And then we get to the finale. The Season 1 finale is titled Wolves at the Door, and this is where every thread in this show, romantic and otherwise, collides at once. In the closing minutes, we see Kayce riding off with Dolly. She has reportedly put off returning to her home state of Texas specifically to stay close to him. For a moment, it plays like the show giving Kayce something good, something soft, after everything he's lost. But that same finale delivers the gut punch. It reveals that Dolly's father, Tom Weaver, is the man behind the attacks on Thomas Rainwater, and the man responsible for ordering the ambush on two of Kayce's own teammates, Cal and Belle. So, in the very same episode, we learn Kayce is falling for the daughter of the man who just tried to have his friends killed. That's not a coincidence in the writing. That's the entire twist the finale was building toward. And by the end of the season, Kayce's connection with Andrea is described as still being platonic, at least for now, which means the direction the show has chosen, deliberately, is the one wrapped in the most conflict. Now, let's talk about what this actually sets up going into Season 2, because this is where the real tension starts. Marshals' first season was a genuine hit for CBS. Multiple reports citing Nielsen data put the show's premiere at over 20 million multi-platform viewers within its first week, and the show averaged around 20 million multi-platform viewers across its first 8 episodes. That kind of number made it the most watched network original series premiere, without a football lead-in in years. CBS didn't wait around. The network renewed Marshals for a second season just 12 days after that March premiere. Season 2 began production in June 2026, filming in Park City, Utah, with a premiere expected this fall on CBS. And recently, the first real teaser trailer for Season 2 dropped. According to reporting on that footage, one detail stands out above everything else. Dolly Weaver appears in the trailer held at gunpoint, standing right alongside Kayce. Not safely at home. Not with her father. In the exact same danger Kayce is in. That detail matters enormously, because it directly answers a question Season 1 left hanging. Is Dolly actually involved in her father's schemes? Or is she just as much a target as anyone else in this story? Based on that teaser, multiple outlets have pointed out that this shot suggests Dolly is not complicit in Tom Weaver's operation, and may in fact be positioned as an ally to Kayce rather than a liability. Think about what that means for the shape of this relationship going forward. This isn't a simple redemption arc, and it isn't a simple villain's daughter trope either. It's something messier. Kayce fell for her before he knew who her father really was. She may not have known the full extent of what her father was doing either, and now, heading into Season 2, both of them are standing in the blast radius of a war neither one of them started. The same teaser reportedly shows Rainwater delivering a warning about the cost of the violence the Duttons keep finding themselves in, telling Kayce that nobody comes out of it unscathed. And Kayce's response, according to that footage, is simple. He calls it the Dutton way. That line matters here, because it tells us Kayce isn't backing away from any of this, not the fight with Weaver, and by extension not whatever this means for his relationship with Weaver's daughter. So here's where the real complexity sits heading into this new season. If Dolly is innocent of her father's actions, Kayce now has to choose between protecting the woman he's falling for and taking down the man actively threatening his team, his son, and his home. If Tom Weaver finds out his daughter is involved with the marshal actively investigating him, that alone puts her in more danger than she may even realize. And if the show continues building toward an alliance between Kayce and Dolly, as that trailer moment suggests, we may be watching two people try to hold a relationship together while standing on opposite sides of a land war that's already claimed casualties on both sides. That's not a soft romance subplot anymore. That's a genuinely impossible position for both characters to be in. Let's also not forget what else this season is carrying forward. Cal and Belle's fates were left deliberately open at the end of that finale ambush, and reporting confirms both actors are part of Season 2, with Cal specifically described by his own actor as alive, but not without cost. Tom Weaver has been set up, across multiple reports, as this season's central antagonist in an escalating land dispute, one that Kayce may not even fully understand yet. And running underneath every bit of that conflict is this one relationship that started with a helicopter rescue, grew through a quiet handhold after somebody else's accident, and ended its first season with the two people at its center riding off together, completely unaware of what was about to be revealed about one of their families. Season 2 isn't just continuing that story. Based on what we've seen so far, it's putting both of them directly in the line of fire together. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Dolly genuinely didn't know what her father was doing? Or do you think there's more to uncover about how much she actually knew? Do you think Kayce and Dolly can actually survive a relationship built on top of a war between their two families? Or is this the kind of romance this franchise never lets end well? Let me know your take in the comments. I want to hear which side of this you're on. And if you want to be here the moment we get more footage, more confirmation, more of this story, go ahead and subscribe to Next Episode Hub so you don't miss it. Because right now, this might be the most complicated relationship this entire franchise has set up in years.